Hey, and welcome to Girl Be Free, a podcast designed to help women get unstuck and cultivate the life you want on your terms. I'm Siobhan, your host, and I'm passionate about empowering women to live their best life. Each week, you'll hear pep talks that will inspire and push you to take action so you too can start to be free and live the life you want. You can learn more about me at befreeproject.com. Now let's jump into the show. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. As you can probably hear in my voice, I am feeling much better than I did last week, and I'm so glad to be back to my old self. Y'all, being sick is not the business, so I am glad that I am healthy. Yes. All right, first off, let me kick it off with what I am loving this week. And this week I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes from the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coleho. And the quote says, "And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it." I have this quote written down in multiple places and I read it often. And I honestly believe that when you have a strong desire to get something done or to accomplish something or a dream or what have you, that when you put it out in the world that is something that you want, that somehow, some way, everything is aligning in your favor for you to accomplish it. I know this from experience because I've been really manifesting and thinking about the things that I want to get done. And I've seen things that I've desired become reality. Now, of course, not just by wishing and hoping, but by doing the work. But I have seen the things that I desired become reality because I put in the work and I've been intentional about what I want. And also I have clarity behind what I want as well. So I love that quote. I hope you enjoy it. Definitely write it down and revisit it often. Next up is, I didn't even get a chance to share this with you, but I'm hosting a Be Free meetup on January 12th. And guys, it's already sold out. It sold out in 1 week. Hello. So that is very exciting for me. Next time, I'll make sure that I give enough time so that you will know about it. I didn't expect for it to sell out so quickly, but I'm definitely grateful. So that is my first event of 2018. However, I am having another event in January, actually on January 20th, called Create the Vision Board Party. And this will be my third year hosting a vision board party. And I absolutely love it. Initially, I was like, am I going to do it this year? But people kept asking, was I doing one? So yes, it is happening on January 20th. And I do things a little bit differently. I focus a lot on the goals that you want to accomplish, having an action plan for your goals, and then creating a vision board or a vision book that aligns with your goals. So that way everything is in alignment. It makes sense. You know what you're working towards. You've written it down. You found the pictures and the words that align with your goals. And when you leave the vision board party, you know exactly what you need to be working on. And I also want to pair people up so that you will have an accountability partner. So I am really excited about that. There are still tickets available. You can learn more about it at befreeproject.eventbrite.com. The link will be in the show notes so you can check that out. And yes, it is happening in Cleveland, Ohio. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you there. All right, now on to today's topic, goal setting 101. So I'm doing this topic, or discussing this topic, I should say, because I did receive an email from Valerie. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm sharing her name. And she asked about setting goals, and can a goal ever be too big? So today's topic is really based on her question. And if you ever have a question for me, or there's a topic that you want me to discuss on the podcast, I have a link where there's a form that you can complete. And then that way it gives me an idea of what you want to hear on the podcast. And I'll be sure, as long as it fits with my brand and all that jazz, I'll make sure that I discuss it. Again, that link will be in the show notes as well. So let's get it started. Number one, and yes, this week the numbers are intentional. You want to choose your goal. You want to choose, what do you want to get done? And then most importantly, why do you want to accomplish that goal? Okay. And then also you want to be realistic. And yes, 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 I want you to dream big. I think oftentimes we think too small and we don't stretch ourselves out of our comfort zone. And so we end up playing small when we should be playing bigger. And so, yes, I want you to dream big and I want you to plan for that goal. But if it's a desire that or something that you want to get done, you want to accomplish that goal for a reason. So it may be big to you, right? Or it may not be big to you. Maybe it's big for somebody else, but if it's something that you want to achieve, I want you to go after it with everything that you have. And I feel like my theme for Be Free Project and Girl Be Free, I want everyone that's connected to my brand to show up for yourself like never before. And you're going to hear me talk about that probably more often. And it's actually a challenge that I'm hosting in January called Show Up For You. So stay tuned for that, but I'll talk about that in upcoming episodes. But I want you to show up for yourself like never before. And when you're choosing your goal, you want to make sure that your goal is a SMART goal. What do I mean by that? It has to be specific. Your goal has to be measurable. It has to be attainable. It has to be realistic, and it has to be timely. So let's just say you want to lose 50 pounds this year or in the first 6 months of the year. Why do you want to lose that weight? How do you want to feel once you complete that goal? How can you get very specific of not just I want to lose 50 pounds, but how are you going to measure that? Is it realistic based on what everything that you have going on? And so you really want to think about your goals and make sure that each goal that you have, that you break them down into being SMART goals. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to commit to achieving your goal, period. I want you to stop quitting on yourself. More often than not, people quit before they ever get started. And I don't want you to focus on your past. I don't want you to focus on your mistakes. I want you to think about, okay, if you failed at this goal in the past, what were the lessons that you've learned from failure? How can you pivot and change so that you're not repeating the same behaviors? What new habits do you need to create in order to make sure that this goal happens this time in your life? I want you to push yourself out of your comfort zone, and I want you to commit to achieving your goal. Stop quitting, stop giving up, stop making excuses. And this year, 2018, that's coming up, I want you to go after it with everything that you have. So don't harp on everything that didn't happen in the past. Let it go. You know why? Because you can't change it. You can't do anything about the mistakes that you made in the past. So let it go. Every single day you get a fresh start. So don't focus on what has happened in the past. Every day you start fresh. Okay? That's what I want you to keep your mind set on. That every day you get a new day to start over, you get to start fresh and to stop quitting on yourself. And I want 2018 and going forward, I really want you to push past everything that has held you back. And I really, really, really want everyone connected to my brand to show up for yourself like never before. Best believe Siobhan is going to be showing up for herself like nobody's business. Like I have written down some really big goals that they are going to stretch me. But when I accomplish them, I'm going to be like, yes, yes, yes. Okay. And then also something that I want you to think about, and I tell my clients this or anyone that attends my events, if I'm talking about this topic or something similar, is to always ask yourself the question, how bad do you want it? Because when you want something bad enough, you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And make a decision. Make a decision to yourself, a promise to yourself, a commitment to yourself that you will not quit on yourself. Okay? Number three, I want you to believe that you can do it. Your mindset is everything. So what you think is what you become. So you really have to shift your thinking into embracing positivity. Okay. And that, let me tell you, positive thinking can be life-changing. And so if you don't believe that you can accomplish a goal, guess what? you're not going to accomplish it. So if you have self-doubt, if you have a lack of belief, a lack of confidence, if you have those limited mental blocks that many of us have, that's going to hold you back. And no matter how hard you try to complete the goal or accomplish the goal, if you don't believe that it's really possible and that you can really do it, you're not going to do it. So you have to shift your stinking thinking and start to believe in yourself. And what I suggest for that is to recite affirmations, speak to yourself in the mirror, record yourself, giving yourself like a pep talk, have your own mini pep rally, but you have to start to motivate yourself. And even if you don't believe fully, just start saying affirmations until you believe it, and start thinking about your goal like it already happened. Visualize yourself achieving that goal and what it's going to feel like, and all the butterflies and everything that you're going to feel internally. Start to visualize that, and that is going to build your momentum and to help you start to believe in yourself, because you got to be able to see it in your mind and believe that you can actually achieve it. But if you lack belief, it's going to be easier for you to quit, and then you're going to end up in the same spot over and over and over again. So belief is everything. Number 4, you need to put a date on your goals. Another way I can say that is you need to give your goals a deadline. So based on everything that you have going on in your life, you definitely want to be realistic. But if you don't have a deadline, that means that there's no sense of urgency, and that you're going to end up putting things off, and you're going to repeat the same old behaviors over and over again. When there's a deadline and you have a date on it, you're going to feel more pressure to complete the goal. Okay. Now be mindful of unexpected things that's going to come up, and that will possibly slow you down. So nothing is going to be perfect. Okay. There are going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be lessons that you're going to have to learn along the way. It is not going to be perfect, and that is okay. So keep in mind that, yes, you have to put a date and a deadline on your goals, but just know that it's not going to be smooth sailing for everything. There's going to be some hiccups, and that is okay. Plan for those, okay? Because a lack of planning will cause you to fail. So you want to make sure that you are putting everything in place to set yourself up to win. And so when you choose a date, that's going to motivate you, and it's going to be more realistic to what you have going on in your life. So you want to be intentional about everything that you have going on. Number 5, and I think this may be the most important goal, or the most important thing that I can say today, is to write your goal down. Okay. You don't know how many people I talk to where I say, oh, what goals are you working on? Or have you written your goals down? And they'll say, oh, they're in my head. If your goals are only in your head and they're not down on paper, then all you have is wishes and fantasies. And the likelihood of you accomplishing that goal, if they're only in your head, is slim to none. There is power when you put pen to paper. Okay. And so when you begin to write your goal down and you're putting out in the universe that this is something that you want to get done, there's something that wakes up inside of you, and it makes your goal real. And no longer is it just a thought, but it's something tangible that you have written down because it's something that you want to get done, and you're putting it out there saying, this is important to me. That means that your goal will no longer be a wish. It will no longer be a fantasy. It will be real because you have written it down. There is so much power, trust me, when you write things down. And so don't just write the goal down, but make sure that your goal is visible so that you can see it often. I want you to read your goals often. And I would also recommend that you rewrite your goals. So whether you do that daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, I want you to rewrite your goals, because that's just you continually connecting with your goals. I have my goals in multiple places at this point, and I do read them often, and it's just a reminder of what I'm working towards. And so that way you can never catch me saying, oh, I don't know what I'm working on. Oh, yes, I have a long list, and some goals are meant to be accomplished in 2018. Some are going to take a little bit longer, but everything that I want to get done at this point in my life is written down. And if I come up with a new idea or a new goal or a new dream or what have you, best believe I'm writing it down because I want to put it out in the universe. Number 6, break your goal down into small chunks or small action steps. What do I mean? So sometimes if you're just focusing on the big goal, it can seem so far off or so overwhelming or unattainable. So it's very important that you break your big goal down into small little goals. So let's just say if your big goal is to lose 50 pounds in 6 months, breaking that down would be, okay, let me divide that by 6 months. Okay. And then then that would tell you how much weight you need to lose per month. And then to break it down even smaller, you divide that by 7 days in a week, right? And so now you know how much weight you need to lose per week. And you can break it down to per day, right? So then that way, when you set those smaller goals, it's easier to accomplish. And in your mind, you're like, oh, I can lose 2 pounds a week, or I can lose this or whatever to get to that big goal. And so you begin to focus on that versus the big goal. And then it doesn't seem so far off, if that makes sense. Okay. And then smaller goals are more doable, right? So it's just easy. We just have to play a trick on our mind. So yes, you're trying to reach the same goal of losing 50 pounds in 6 months, but when you break it down into smaller goals, it seems more doable. It's easier for you to achieve. It helps you see your progress. And so that way you can start to celebrate your small wins. And then it's going to build your momentum to keep pushing to get to that bigger goal because you've already seen yourself accomplish the smaller goals. I hope this is making sense too. So what I want you to do is to simply think about and brainstorm all the steps that you need to take to reach your big goal. And then you can even break down those goals or mini goals into smaller tasks. And then you take those tasks and you write them in your planner or your calendar, if you're using like Google Calendar or iCalendar or something like that, or write them in your planner and stick to it. Again, I want you to show up for yourself, right? So I want you to stick to it and don't veer off of that. I want you to stay focused on that goal, but you have to write it down and you have to plan for it and keep it super simple. Okay. Don't set yourself up for failure, because this is what happens. We plan these big old goals and then they're not something that you can really attain because you haven't made sure that it was a SMART goal. So then it's easier for you to fail. Keep it super simple. And yes, I want you to set big goals, but make sure that you're doing it within reason. And then lastly, again, I think in addition to number 5, this is a key. This is a really important goal, is to find an accountability partner. I have shared this many times before that having accountability partners in my life has been a game changer. And I have multiple accountability partners. I have 2 friends that I meet with on a weekly basis, and we either check in via text or we Skype, and they're both in different states. I also have a mastermind group with a few women that are here in the same city as me. So we either meet up via Zoom or we meet like in real life at a venue or what have you. And then I have a couple of other friends that I kind of check on a weekly basis, and we kind of see, well, what are each other working on. But having accountability partners has been a game changer, because that means I'm not the only person that knows what I'm working on. When you share your goals with other people, and they know what you're working on, you're more likely to get them done, because you don't want to go back to that person and say, when they ask, hey, how's it going with losing weight? Or did you lose your 50 pounds? You don't want to go back and give a bad report. You want to say, yeah, girl, I lost that weight and now I'm on to the next 50 or what have you. So you want someone in your corner that you can report to that's going to hold you accountable. So when you think about this person, you want to have someone that is also focused on reaching their goals. You don't want to have someone that is not goal oriented or it has nothing going on, because how are they going to motivate you, right? So you want to find someone that is also, they're also working on their goals as well. You can find someone online or offline. You can meet via Skype. You can meet in person, but definitely have at least one person that is going to help you reach your goals. It will be good if they're working on a similar goal as you, but that doesn't have to be the case. You will have to set some, what do I want to say? A foundation or what have you on, or rules or guidelines on how you guys are going to communicate with each other and how frequently you're going to check in. But you definitely want to have someone. And so you want to have someone in your corner that's going to hold you accountable to do what you say you're going to do. You want to have someone that you can share and brainstorm with, that will share resources with you, that will motivate and encourage you, and that will listen to you, right? And then you definitely want to have, like I said, some guidelines on how you're going to check in and how often and frequent you're going to do that. And then you need that positivity, you need that encouragement, and you need that support to help you on the journey. So I hope that was helpful as it relates to goal setting. This is a topic that I can go on and on about, but I think that this was help set the foundation for you as you begin to plan out your goals for 2018. Now, the action step for this week is to write down 3 goals that you want to accomplish, and then write down the action steps that it's going to take you to accomplish each goal. And don't you worry, as I mentioned, I created a freebie for you. So there's a download that you can download and you can write down your 3 goals and you can write down your action steps. Please print it out and use it, and actually put the pen to paper and write down what you want to work on in 2018. This is just a beginner step. Of course, if you have a planner, make sure you're putting all this stuff in your planner and your calendar, but definitely download the freebie for this week. The link for the freebie will be in the show notes. So I hope you enjoy that. And at any time, please feel free to shoot me an email and let me know what you think of the podcast. You can share your worksheet with me by just tagging me at Be Free Project, and I'll be sure to see it on social media. Lastly, I do want to say again that I am having the Create the Vision Board Party on January 20th, 2018. There are tickets still available for that. If you want to connect with like-minded women, you want to network, and you want to really get this thing started, meet me on January 20th for a 4-hour workshop. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be life-changing. Best believe if you are in my presence for a minimum of 5 minutes, you're going to be motivated to do something. And everyone that's connected to me, I am committed to helping you win in 2018. I'm not saying anything cliche or anything like that, but I have killed it this year as it relates to accomplishing my goals. And I want to help everyone that's connected to me do the same thing. But you have to be ready, and you have to be willing to show up for yourself. So I hope to see you there. Again, the link for the event is befreeproject.eventbrite.com, and you will find that in the show notes. And everything that I mentioned, you're going to always find in the show notes as well. If you have a question or a topic that you want me to cover, there's a link for a form that you can complete. And if it fits within my brand and all that jazz, I'll be sure to cover it on the podcast and give you a shout out as well if you want. And then lastly, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of the support that I have received thus far. It warms my heart when I see the comments and the ratings on iTunes. Thank you for emailing me. I appreciate that as well. I will be back next week with another episode, and thank you for your support. And until next time, girl, be free. Thank you so much for listening. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling really fancy, go ahead and leave a review. Until next time, be free and live.